What is up, dudes and lady dudes? Welcome back to Just Nuts. We finally got it. We finally got the rest of Eternity Code, the last 15 cards, at least from the OCG side. And yeah, we're going to take a look at that. I don't want to waste too much time because we got 15 cards to go through, and some of them I want to get a little more in depth on. So let's start off real quick with the top of our list. I'm just going right down the list. Before we go, let me get some water. Madolche Sun. It's a continuous spell card. You can only use this card's second effect once per turn. While this card is in your spell and trap zone, you can normal summon a Madolche monster during your main phase, in addition to your normal summoner set per turn. You can only gain this effect once per turn. Makes sense? Second effect, if a Madolche card or cards is returned from your field to the graveyard to your hand or main deck by a card effect, you can set one Madolche spell or trap card directly from your deck, except for another copy of itself. This card's really, really good. It's an extender, as well as a setup card for next turn. It's really awesome, like legitimately. So this the second effect can get you like. All right. So first off, not only can Messengelato just get this off of his effect, which means if you had any other Madolches in hand, it doesn't let you extend through that, which means sometimes a disruption, as long as you can still get to Messengelato through a disruption, he can extend you even past that and still probably OTK through that, which is really nice, as well as the second effect, whereas most of your turns are going to be shuffling something, gets you either the field spell, which is going to buff all your stuff 500 and give you some floating on your stuff, ticket, which gives you like super floating on a lot of your stuff, or it gets you the new trap card, which is literally just an Omni Negate. It's more or less an Omni Negate on the field right there, which is really, really solid. So if you this gives you extra consistency going first, getting you the trap to just kind of have an extra interruption, as well as going second. If you're not able to kill immediately, this can just get you the trap to kind of has a follow play. So if your opponent tries to come back at you, you have some disruption for them as well. Really, really good. Yeah, not much to say there. Witchcraft or Patronus is a continuous trap card. You can only use each effect of this card's name once per turn. First effect, you can target one of your spellcaster monsters that's banished or in your graveyard, shuffle them in the deck, and if you do, add a Witchcrafter spell from deck to hand. Second effect, if this card is in your graveyard, except the turn it was sent there, you can banish it, then target any number of your banished Witchcrafter spells with different names and add them to your hand as well. Really solid. Really, really solid. The first effect is really nice. You can target just getting, like, after you've used your Witchcrafters to, like, tribute themselves and then banish themselves. There, you just shuffle back in and then search once per turn. Just a free +1 because you're not using their effects anymore, especially once they're banished. And then, yeah, you're just getting a free spell every single turn. You've got Rhoda in the deck. You've got Monster Reborn in the deck. You've got Special from Hand in the deck. You've got all the extenders you'll need, which is really nice. I think this is solid. Solid there. The problem is it doesn't actually help the speed. That's like Witchcrafter's biggest thing is speed. And this doesn't help that, but it does help over the course of dual helping even more with resourcing and just +1ing every single turn after that initial turn. You have to set this. So I'm still into it. I still think it's a good card. And also the float too. Once it's sent, you can just get banished once back to hand, which is pretty cool. There. Moving on, we got Trias Hierarchia. This is a light fairy effect monster. It's level 9 with 1900 attack, 2900 defense. You can only use the effect once per turn. If this card is in your hand or grave, you contribute up to 3, so you contribute 1, 2, or 3 fairy monsters to special discard from hand, but banish it if it leaves the field. In addition, apply 1 or more of these effects based on how many monsters you tributed. If you tributed 2, at least 2, you get to destroy 1 card your opponent controls. If you tribute 2 if you tribute 3, you get to pop a card your opponent controls, and you get to draw 2 cards. That's pretty nice, but all it takes is 1 impermanence, 1 ash, 1 Veiler, any disruption really, and it makes this card not worth, because you've got to use 3 fairies just to get those effects to make it actually worth. So unless you were able to summon like 3 fairy tokens like super freely and then tribute them off, then that's something, but like if you can't set that up, then like nah. So I just think it's probably not worth overall. Not that great. Magical Hound, an Earth Machine Tuner effect monster. Level 1, 500 attack, 800 defense. His a once per turn duel. Or once per turn effect, I mean. Once per duel effect. Jesus. It's too early. It just woke up. First, the only effect. If this card is in your hand or graveyard, you can target 1 face-up spell or trap your opponent controls. Return it to the hand, and if you do, special summon this card. It's a level 1 tuner. It removes a floodgate. It could be okay. It could be okay. I mean, I think it's just okay. That's where I'll leave it, is I just think it's an okay card, really. I don't know. Nothing insane. But it does out a floodgate going second and get you a body on board, a level 1 tuner body on board. So it's okay. Next up, we have Goki Iron Claw. This is an Earth Warrior effect monster, level 2, 1000 attack, 0 defense. You can only use both of his effects once per turn. First effect, from at the start of the damage step until the start of the damage calculation, when a Goki monster you control is battling an opponent's monster, you can send this card from your hand to the graveyard. Your battling monster gains 500 attack and becomes unaffected by your opponent's card effects. That lasts until the end of the turn. That's pretty sweet. That's pretty neat. That's pretty cool, especially being unaffected completely by all card effects. It's only that monster, so if that monster doesn't have removal effects, it'll still be, hurting. Like, it just doesn't do anything. It won't be hurting, but it just won't be doing anything. Like, it's unaffected, but, like, your opponent doesn't care about it because it's not doing anything to them. Second effect, though, if this card's sent to the grave, from the field to the graveyard, add a Goki monster, Goki card from deck to hand. That's just classic Goki stuff. So I like that it has the extra effect. I think that's a nice effect. I think that totally can come up, especially in a super battle face forward strategy like Goki. So you just combine that with doing what all the rest of the Gokis do. So I think it's a fine card, definitely. Next up, we have the man. The man, Mech Knight Orkest Gear Suit. That is this guy up here. He looks awesome. He's 1800 attack, 0 defense, level 4 Dark Machine. He's a beater. Keep that in mind. But he has 2 effects, and they're hard ones for turns each. First effect, if this card is normal or special summon, you can send an Orkest card or a World Legacy card from deck to the graveyard. Also, if there are 2 or more cards in this card's column, this card also becomes a tuner. Now, I don't know how relevant that is, becoming a tuner. I guess it opens up possible needle fiber plays or bringing out certain synchros. I don't really know, but still it could come up. I don't know. The main thing is dumping an Orkest or World Legacy. That's really, really strong. And the second effect, if you control no other monsters, you can special summon a World Legacy token. It's a Machine Dark level 1/0/0 token to each side of the field in defense position. That's really nice. You could get Ashed on his first effect and still just make a token, and that gets you Galatea. Galatea searches you. Oh, if you didn't banish anything, you wouldn't be able to do it, but at least it gets you to Galatea, which gives you to Gearsu, so going second, this can still, like, play through Disruption, and if you had anything banished, you would still be able to, like, get a search for a counter trap and that kind of stuff, which is really, really strong. Some other things I want to keep in mind, it's a Mech Knight. So, Purple Nightfall searches him. Purple Nightfall is effectively, what's the word I'm looking for? Stratos, but it's a quick effect. And he summons himself as a 2500 beater. He comes back every single turn. He's insanely strong, and he searches this guy. Also insanely strong. Also, World Legacy's Memory is another card that Mech Knights like to play. This card just says special summon a Mech Knight from hand or deck in defense position, but return to the hand during the end phase. So you could literally just go this special purple. If you didn't have a normal summon in your hand, you go special purple, search your new guy, normal summon the new guy. And you get purple back on your next standby phase, or if you already have a normal summon, you do your normal summon, you bet out some hand traps or disruptions, then you go memory for the new guy, dump special tokens, do your stuff. It's so crazy. This card's so wild. I can't wait to see what Mech Knights can do with this card, as well as some other stuff, but yeah, we're going to have to wait and see. It definitely changes the context of what I believe they'll hit on the ban list, but we'll get there. Next up, Heavy Forward is a continuous spell card. You can only activate 1 per turn. When this card is activated, add an Infinity Track monster from your deck to your hand. Rhoda. Second effect, once per turn you can target a Machine Xyz monster you control and activate one of these effects. Change its battle position or attach this card to it as material. That's a really nice second effect because all the material helps, because I believe some of them actually gain stats by their material, and also some of them are trying to activate their effects multiple times. So not in the same turn, but over the course of a duel, so in a grindier match, that material could matter. And also, I believe they all special themselves back to the field, so changing them to attack mode, they special back in defense, so changing them to attack mode allows you to be more offensive in that same turn, which is a nice little tiny speed boost for them as well. So really good consistency, really good a little bit speed. Next up, we have Cataclysmic Crisp Chillbrain, a water fairy effect monster. It's a level 8 with 2600 attack, 200 defense. You can only use its effect once per turn. If a face-up water monster or monsters you control is destroyed by battle or card effect, opponent's card effect, you can special summon this card from your hand. Then you can send one random card from your opponent's hand to the graveyard. There's a lot of stuff that's in the graveyard, but also it is just a rip, but it also relies on your opponent to add a water monster you control. I think overall it's going to be too inconsistent. Sometimes you're going to hit stuff you don't want to. Sometimes your opponent's not going to be destroying your stuff, your water monsters specifically, so it's just not reliable. Next up, another huge card here is Thunder Dragon Sky Rumble, a light thunder special summon effect monster. It's level 9 with 3,000 attack, 200 defense. It cannot be normal summoned or set. It must first be special summoned from your hand by banishing a level 8 or lower thunder monster from your hand or field. During the turn, a thunder monster's effect is activated in the hand. Okay, so you're kind of going minus. You need to have already activated something, which is not necessarily minus, but you do need to tribute something on field or in hand. But if you do tribute something on field, you do get the float, which can be there. It's nice. Okay. First effect, once per turn during your opponent's turn, quick effect, banish 2 cards from your graveyard, including a thunder. So both do not have to be thunder. Then target a thunder monster you control. It cannot be targeted by an opponent's card effect for the rest of the turn. That's not terrible. I mean, really, like for him, like if you had this or if you had a Colossus, that makes Colossus unoutable by like a Millennium Eyes Restrict, by Mind Control, by Widow Anchor. There's like a ton of stuff. Like they can impermanences so that they can search. That really does come up, especially if you just have like this in Colossus. On standby phase, if you do that, that's not bad at all. That's really not bad at all. Okay. And then the other effect, once per turn during your end phase, you can send one Thunder Dragon card from your deck to the graveyard. Any card. So you can just send Thunder Dragon Fusion and then you'll get the search next turn, or that turn, I think. No, I can't remember if you can do it the same turn. But still, that's a really, really nice. I think it's a fine monster. I think it might just be a 1, maybe 2 of in the deck, but still, that's another option just for a huge beater that also gives you protection for your other big monsters, gives you an extender by foolishing Thunder Dragon Fusion, and possibly other cards if you just have stuff to banish. Pretty solid. And it banishes on your opponent's turn, so you can't just banish, like send something, then banish it. To get extra effects and stuff, which is really solid. So I like this guy. I think he's cool. I don't think he's amazing, but he's solid. Next up, we have Noctovision Dragon, a dark dragon effect monster. It's level 7 with 0 attack, 2800 defense, and the first and second effects are hard once per turn, but we've got 3 here. If a dark dragon monster is special summoned to your field, you can special summon this card from the hand. Okay, free body on board for dark dragons. Second effect, if this card is sent to the graveyard as a link material, you can draw 1 card. Okay, this looks really good for guard dragon stuff. And third, when an opponent's card or effect that targets a face-down card or cards, face-down card or cards you control is activated, quick effect. You can banish this card from your graveyard, negate that effect, and if you do, your opponent cannot target that card with card effects for the rest of the turn while it remains face down. Very nice. Very, very nice. That's so good. I think this card's so good. It jumps out, it gets you a draw, and it can protect face-down cards. Why only face-down? That's so random, but still, even just the other 2 effects are solid. It's just a +1. So I like that a lot. Really good extender. All right, then we have Titanocider, a normal trap card. You can only use this card's first and second effects once per turn each. First effect, target 1 face-up monster your opponent controls that was summoned from the extra deck. Its attack becomes 0, and if it does, negate its effects. Okay, so Lost Wind, but a little stronger there, I think, because Lost Wind cuts in half instead of makes them 0. And the second effect, if your opponent special summons a monster or monsters from the extra deck while this card is already in your graveyard, except during the turn it was sent there, you can set this card to your field. Oh, interesting. So it's Lost Wind, but different, because I believe Lost Wind can still be reset the same turn. And Lost Wind works on any special summon monster, not just extra deck monsters. And the last thing to note is that Lost Wind banishes itself after it's been brought back by its own effect. This card does not, which means if a duel goes on long enough and your opponent is able to keep connecting to the extra deck, you just keep reset. You just like set it first, activate it to negate, goes to grave. On the next turn, summon it back. Activate again on the next turn. Goes to grave, summon it back. It can come back theoretically, but I don't know how many duels are going on that long to give this card the chance to, but it's interesting. It's definitely an interesting card. I'll definitely keep it in mind. A little bit different than Lost Wind. I'm not sure if it's better, though. Next up is Pinpoint Dash, a normal trap card you can only activate once per turn. Each player selects one card from their own face-down extra deck and reveals them. If they have the same card type, at a fusion, synchro, Xyz, or link, send the opponent's card to the graveyard and special summon yours. Then if the cards were the same original type and attribute, your opponent loses life points equal to their card's attack. If they were not the same card type, send your card to the graveyard and your opponent special summons their card. This is super like anime style. Like, it's huge risk, huge reward. Not sure it's actually worth. It's definitely not worth, actually. Moving on, though, next up we got Marine Says Great Bubble Reef. This is a Water Cybers Link effect monster, 2600 attack, 4 link ratings, with 2+ water monsters at points left, right, down, left, and down. Pretty decent arrows. And its third effect is once per turn. First effect, once per turn, during the standby phase, banish a water from your graveyard. You can banish a water from your graveyard or field to draw one card. That's nice. I mean, you're already going to be linking stuff away, so it's just a free draw in every standby phase. Second effect, each time a monster or monsters is banished, this card gains 600 attack for each until the end of this turn. All right, nice little buff. I mean, it'll get it over 3,000 pretty easily on just every standby, at least, which is nice. And the third effect, you can send one water monster from your hand to the graveyard to special summon one of your banished Marine Cess monsters. Again, I don't think the deck doesn't actually banish outside of this card, so like you're not getting to use that third effect until your next turn after you've used this on a couple of standbys. The draw is nice, especially because like you play Marine Cess Wave, which can be activated from the hand. You're probably already playing hand traps in the deck, so maybe you're just playing that as like a chance to draw a hand trap with like, I don't know, a decent chance to just pull another hand trap off the top of your deck for extra disruption. But other than that, it's just like resource. It's okay. I think, like, I don't know if it's worth going all 4 link materials into, but it's okay. It's definitely something to consider for sure. I'm just not sure it works out. It's a little too slow. Next, we have Landscaper Goldilocks, an Earth Machine effect monster, level 10, 0 attack, 3000 defense. First effect, if this card is normal or special summon, destroy it unless it is in the center main monster zone. Second effect, gains 3000 attack while in the center monster zone. Okay. And the third effect, once per turn, you can choose one of your unused main monster zones, move this card to that zone, then destroy all other cards in the column this card was in, the column it is in now, and all columns in between. So you summon this into the middle monster zone. Then you can move him to the far zones, and you will get to destroy all other cards that were in the columns from that were in the middle zone, the zone that's between the zones you moved to, and the new zone. So you covered 3 zones. That's interesting. I mean, he doesn't summon himself. That's the other thing, is he just doesn't get himself on the board, so you would have to worry about that. But he's definitely interesting. Could potentially just wipe a board. But we also know that destruction board wipes are not that great. We'll see. Next up, we have Horde, the generator boss of Rumbling. This is a dark spellcaster effect monster, level 9, 3000, 3000, with a third effect that's hard once per turn. We already got the really good generator monster in this set, but let's take a look at this last guy. You can only control one. Second effect, once per turn, if your opponent adds a card from their deck to the hand outside of the draw phase, you can activate this effect, in which your opponent must send one monster they control or have in their hand to the graveyard. That's a super interesting effect. I'm not sure how good that is, because like there are decks that just want stuff in the grave. Like if you're playing Orkest, like there's a very good chance they opened an Orkest that they're like, okay. It doesn't discard, so it won't help people with dangers, but I feel like there's too many decks that just like want to discard something. But it is a -1 from the hand. Okay. And the third effect, when a card or effect is activated, quick effect, you contribute 2 generator monsters and or spellcaster monsters, negate the activation and destroy it. So just a straight up negate. With the field spell, you're going to put 4 tokens on the field with him, so tributing 2 is actually not that big of a deal. Really nice. Against like a regular strategy that's not super graveyard centric, you get to rip a card out of their hand or field, rip a monster from their hand or field if they ever add a card from their deck, and you just have a straight up negate. An Omni negate. They're pretty good. I mean, that's a really good generator boss, for sure. Next up, we have Goki Guts, an Earth Warrior effect monster. He's level 1. Ooh. 800 attack, 0 defense, and you can only use this card's first and third effects once per turn each. If this card is in defense position, it cannot be destroyed by battle. And during your main phase, you can activate this effect. All Cookie monsters gain 200 attack. Okay. Third effect, if this card is sent from the field to the graveyard, add a Goki card from deck to hand. Again, really nice. It's kind of nice. I'm not. How relevant is it that this is another level 1 with Octo Stretch with like Isolt? So you could Isolt 1 Octo Stretch, and then maybe you can play something like 1 for 1 in the deck. Did they get this guy out as an extender if you got stopped, or just to power through anyway? Really interesting. I'm not sure how worth that is, but it definitely is something to note there. But that's pretty much it, guys. I know this video ran to 20 minutes. We had 15 cards to go over. There are a couple I want to go a little in depth on there, but definitely more videos to come on some of these cards, potentially on how they affect stuff, the Thunder Dragon and the Orkest one specifically. But there's some really interesting stuff. I think Madolche's become very interesting after this set. I think this is really nice help for Infinitrack. I think this is a really interesting Dragon Extender, Lost Wind version 2. Generators are really interesting after this set as well. There's a lot going on. I don't want to go too much into it. The video's already long enough. But thank you so much for watching. As always, guys, subscribe to the channel if you have not yet. Let me know if I missed anything here. If I missed any applications of some of these cards that you may know a little bit more about, if they are a little more archetype specific. So, yeah. Thank you so much, guys.